Boys and girls, this problem set is going to seem rather simple compared to what we did on Friday. It says use the place value chart and arrows to show how the value of each digit changes. The first one has been done for you. Okay, so what's different about this place value chart than what we've been used to? Hint.
Place value chart.
The numbers, the words aren't there, are they? Okay, so let's get the words now. The easiest thing for me to do is to start here because I know that's going to be thousands. So go ahead and fill it in. And I'm going to show you the quick, easy way to do it. Can you watch me for just a minute, please? Look up here. I'm going to put an O for ones, a T for tens, an H for hundreds. What do you think I'm going to put for thousands?
TH.
TH. Okay? So go ahead and get your place value chart labeled, and then we're going to need decimals also. So go ahead and get that done. Do you need to borrow a pencil from me, Vaughn? I have some that work really well. Okay. All right, now I noticed they did the arrows, they moved the numbers. They forgot something though. Does anyone notice what they forgot when they, okay honey, you got to turn it over to the right side. Okay. All right, Jesus, what did they forget?
I forgot to write times.
They forgot to write times 10. Now how many times do I ask you to do it? Once. Just on that first number that you moved to the left, okay? So on Friday we learned that when digits slide to the left on the place value chart, you're multiplying, okay? And the 0 on 10 tells us how many place values to move. So how many zeros on 10?
1.
So we move one place value, okay? Let's talk about how to say this number right here. Okay, look at my pen. I'm just going to say 34 and 5200. Very good. Okay, the number that we're putting on the place value chart is 3.452. 3.452. Now, anyone want to try and say that? Alexia. 400.
452 thousandths.
Good. 3 and 452 thousandths. That's what we put on the place value chart. Do you think we need to fill all this in, or can we just look up at the top? Let's just look up at the top, okay? If you want to fill it in, that's up to you, but I don't want to take time to do it right now. Okay, so I need 2 decimals on here. What am I multiplying by this time? 100. How many zeros are on 100? 2. So watch my pen. 1, 2. Move it down. What do I write on the arrow this time? Times 100. Now here's what I want to do, boys and girls. I've got it moved. I slid the digits over 2 place values. Got everything labeled. I'm going to write 345.2, and then I'll figure out how to say it. So George, you want to see if you can figure out how to say that number?
345 and 2 tenths.
Good. So take the 2, look up at the tenths place, and that tells you what to say. Okay? How do you feel about it? Fist to 5. You understand what we're doing when we multiply? Okay? Good. All right, we'll do the next one, and we've got a question to answer. Now, I've covered up my place value chart at the top, but you still have yours. So 3 and 452 thousandths. Guess what mistake children make most often when they're doing this type of work?
Decimals.
Well, you're close. They put the digits in the wrong place value to start with. by accident. Okay? So double check your place value so you don't get them in the wrong place to start with. What are we multiplying this time?
1,000.
1,000. So how many zeros do you see? So three. Here we go. Watch my pen. 1, 2, 3. Move it down.
Times 1,000.
Times 1,000. I don't think you even need me anymore, do you? Okay, I'm going to write that number down and then I'll figure out how to say it. You ready yet? How do you say this number?
3,452.
Good. Do you see that I kind of made a big comma?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty long. It's not as long as a number, but it's pretty long. Why do you think I made it so big?
So you can see it. It's a comma.
So I'll know it's a comma and not a decimal. Very good. So your eyes won't get tricked by that, okay? So that's a review of the other day. By the way, on your exit ticket, you just have to do one multiplication problem and one division problem, okay? All right, so let's answer this question. Explain how and why the value of the 5 changed in A, B, and C. Well, let's talk about how it changed. Did it increase or decrease?
Increase.
Okay, so let's start with that. The value, I'll move this up so you can see it better. The value of the 5 increased and moved to the left. Okay, and moved Now you ready for this? I could write because, but I feel like being more sophisticated today. Okay? So instead of because, I'm going to put depending. Depending on, what do you think I'm going to put next?
On
The number, oops, number of what?
Zeros.
Zeros in, on or in? I think in. 10, 100, and 1,000. Make sense? The value of the 5 increased and moved to the left depending on the number of zeros in 10, 100, and 1,000. I left out something pretty important. Moved over place values to the left, but that's okay. I don't want to write any more than that, do you? I know. Okay, so that's pretty much what we learned about multiplying by, and these are 10, 100, 1,000. Did I tell you what they're called? Powers of 10. Powers of 10. Now, I stapled your papers in the wrong order. You'll figure that out when you turn it over. Yeah, sorry about that. So go to number 2, but it's not on the back of the first page. Okay, let's start out by labeling the place value chart. What advice did I give you about this? Start where? Thousands. Work your way backwards. It looks like they forgot decimals, and what else did they forget? You ready? What did they forget?
to multiply.
Well, except for what are we doing this time?
Dividing.
Dividing. So now my decimal's in my way. Divided by 10. Okay. When I divide, which way do my digits move on the place value chart?
Right.
To the right. To the right. And do you remember why? Remember the bundling? Okay, all the bundling? Okay. So, by the way, let's try and say this number right here. Yeah, Jair, you try it.
34 and 5
Tenths. You're right. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get my 345 in the right place value. Okay? So you know the 5's in the ones place. And what am I dividing by? How many zeros?
2.
2. So how many place values?
2.
Watch my pen. Can you see? If you can't, just look at the computer, okay? All right, so 1, 2, move it down. And just move the 5 first. Whatever way you're going, move that number first. What do I write on the arrow? Divided by 100. Do I need to write on the other arrows?
No.
No. That would get too jumbled up. I wouldn't even be able to grade it, because I don't think I would be able to read it. Okay, let's write this down. 3.45 and then figure out how to say it. Okay, Abigail wants to try.
3 and 45 hundredths.
Good. So 3 and 45, look up at hundredths and that tells you, okay? All right, the next one. I bet you're ready to do this on your own, aren't you? Don't worry, it's coming. Okay, so 345. And what are we dividing by? 1,000. Watch my pen. 1, 2, 3. Move it down. What do I write on the arrow?
Divided by 1,000.
Very good. Now, pay close attention to this one, because you have one like this on your exit ticket. What do I need in the ones place?
A 0.
A 0. Now, I don't have to write it on the place value chart, do I? That's why I put it in blue. But I do have to write it on my answer. Alexia, what did I do wrong? Okay. So you want to say this? Okay, she wants to give it a try. Go ahead.
345,000.
You're right. 345 thousandths. Okay, now this is a little bit like the other question we answered. Explain how and why the value of the 4 changed in the quotients in A, B, and C. In fact, it's so much like the other one, I'm going to cheat.
The value of the...
Okay, so let's read this. The value of the 5 increased. You know what I'm doing, don't you? Copy. Paste. Now I'm going to change some things, aren't I? I'm going to change the 5. Decreased. And I've got to change left.
To the
Right. To the right. Okay, so I'm going to change the value of the 4.
I wish we could do that.
Decreased. You wish you were me, don't you? And move to the, which way? Right. Depending on the number of zeros in 10, 100, and 1,000. Now, don't feel bad. I had to teach this 4 times in one day. So technically, I'm writing it 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the 3rd time I've written it already, so you can write it twice. Okay, I'm going to pause it while you're writing. So take a look at